Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Hibee Buzz. I'm Angus Scott, and first of all, I just want to thank you for all your comments from last week, all positive, I'm pleased to say, and we'll hope to bring you more of the same interest from around the club and all the news and views every week, as we will do with this show. So what is in this show? Well, let me tell you. As you can see, Adam Tomlinson is out in Andorra for us ahead of the Santa Coloma second leg. We'll be hearing from him very shortly. One man who's not out there, as you can see, is Joe Newell, but I'm pleased to say he's joined us instead. We'll be hearing from Joe in just a moment as well. Ben Jacobs joins us again. He's our head of communications, and we'll also be hearing from the boss, Jack Ross, and the new CEO, Ben Kensell, who has arrived at Easter Road this week. Also, we have our prize winner from last week, and we have a new competition for you this week. So a bumper-packed 20 minutes of action for you starting right now. Okay, so that second leg. Let's get the flavour of what's going on in Andorra, and Adam is out there. Everyone travelled well and everyone all set, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely. It was certainly an early start. We were at Edinburgh Airport for 5 a.m. So that was a nice and early wake-up call for everyone. Flight into Spain, and then about a two and a half hour coach ride into Andorra. So the travel plans were quite long. It's quite a difficult country to actually get to, Andorra. But since we've been here, everyone seems in good spirits. A lot of the lads in the group have travelled away with their club for the first time. It's a new experience for them, and you can really sense that amongst the group. The first training session was yesterday at the Andorra Football Federation Stadium. So the lads were here working in two separate groups. The strikers and the midfielders were working very closely with Jack Ross, and John Potter was working with the defensive unit. So it's all happening here, and the fantastic scenery. You can't probably quite see it behind me because I'm right in the top of the stand. But the setting for the stadium is, to be honest, absolutely magnificent.
No, all we can see at the moment is you've got a very nice roof over your head, which might be needed tomorrow for the game itself if it's very, very sunny. So they've all settled in. What the usual practice for a European game is they train on the pitch 24 hours ahead of kickoff, don't they? Just to get a feel for the environment, and then obviously relax on match day and build up towards the game itself.
Yeah, exactly. They all settled in. So we got to the hotel just after 1 p.m. Obviously the day before the game, and then they came down, trained an hour before. So they just kind of finished up with their session in line with the UEFA protocol, and they all seem very happy. One thing that I should mention is the pitch is artificial. Obviously, some of the lads have experienced that before, but in the heat that we will probably experience tomorrow, it should be very, very interesting. It's been slightly overcast today, but it's still a kind of very humid, around kind of 26 degrees. But you can imagine what that temperature will turn into when the sun's out. But like I say, I think we're expecting a very different game. Santa Coloma, if they want to progress, will have to come out and attack us a little bit more. We saw that they had spells of possession, and were comfortable keeping the ball, especially to the latter stage of the first half. But in this game, they'll have to do something a little bit different, and that could play into our hands, particularly on the counter-attack.
Stay with us, Adam. We will come back to you shortly. If you do get a UEFA official tapping you on the shoulder, then let us know, and we'll have a final word with you. But hold on to your position as long as you can.
Will do.
So, obviously, it's a huge disappointment for you that you're not out there with the guys.
Yeah, gutted. Obviously, my first ever year playing European football, so I was so excited for the game last week, and obviously got cut short. So I'm a bit gutted. I've not got a little mini break away in the sun, but I did play golf today, so there's always positives to take.
There are. Did you feel, were you slightly shocked when you saw a red card produced last week?
Yeah, I was. It was funny. I've actually told quite a few people like my my view on what happened and stuff and how I remember it. And I honestly thought he was just thinking about whether to book me or not. And he said a dangerous tackle, for that reason it's a red card, and then like paused for 3 seconds before he pulled it out. So I was a bit like thinking, did I just hear him right? But then obviously he brought out the red card, and it was just obviously disappointing.
And what's your feeling as when you head down the tunnel, you're away from the game, and you've left 10 of your teammates on the pitch?
Well, I've been sent off before, and to be honest, the one last week was a different feeling. I didn't for one second think it was a red card, so I didn't feel like not so much guilt. Or I've been sent off before when it's been my fault, and I felt really bad and really guilty for what I've done. But I didn't really get that feeling. It was more just anger, really, to be honest. Straight after, I thought it's just an injustice. And then obviously you settle down a bit, and then you're thinking, flipping hell, I hope this doesn't come back and bite us. And like, we're only 1-0 up, and they've got a man advantage. And like you just mentioned then, Angus, they're a good team and they can keep the ball. So I was thinking, I hope it doesn't come back and like they win, and then I'm the scapegoat, and even though I don't think it's my fault and stuff, but worked out all right in the end.
Yeah, so you were pretty relieved. Obviously, 3-0's a comfortable advantage, isn't it?
Yeah. Fingers crossed, should be enough. I'm more than confident in the lads. I think, like you say, 3-0 should. I can't really see them causing us much trouble, to be honest. Let alone turning a 3-goal deficit round. So I'm hoping it'll be not so much a warm-up game, because you obviously have to remain professional and get the job done, but be a good little taster for what's hopefully to come in the rest of this competition.
And what's a sort of European campaign meant to the dressing room?
Excitement, really. I think we've all, like me personally, all summer I couldn't wait to find out who we were playing, and just excitement. And I know a few of the lads who have been here before have played in it, and I think I've got to through 2 off, might have lost out in the third round, something like that, I think, previously. But they had a few good nights before it, home and away, and I know the fans would have loved it. So I'm hoping the same. I don't want to, obviously no one wants to go out early, but I really want to try and take advantage and make something memorable, and make something, like I say, that I'll remember for the rest of my career, really.
Yeah, well, despite the fact that you're not there, Joe, the boss, thinks you're in pretty comfortable position after that first leg victory.
Jack, obviously we're here in Andorra ahead of our second leg against FC Santa Coloma. We come into this game with a comfortable 3-0 lead, but what's been the message to the players ahead of this one?
We want to win the game, the tie obviously, but we want to win the second leg as well. I think we worked hard last season at creating that mentality that was used to winning games in the main, and we want to continue that momentum into the start of this season, and whether that's in European matches or in our domestic league campaign. So we did that in the first leg, and we want to deliver a similar result and performance tomorrow evening as well.
How much did you learn from the first leg at Easter Road about the strengths of FC Santa Coloma?
Well, I think you feel better prepared going into the second leg because you've had the advantage of seeing them firsthand. We prepared thoroughly in terms of the footage that we worked from and put together, but you don't get a real feel for the opposition until you see them up close. And they dealt with the ball well. They were technically good and tried to obviously play it from the back. But I think for us, we developed a better understanding of how to deal with that as the game went on, even when we were a man short. So I think that undoubtedly helps you as you go into the second leg. There's less surprising elements for our team.
It was quite a physical game, the first leg. How important is it that the players control their emotions in this one?
I think it's the same for every game. Again, domestically, there are games that become tousy and physical, and you can dispute officiating, etc., and that will happen. So I think that it's a good learning experience, full stop, to maintain that clarity of thought, because undoubtedly we probably lost it a little bit. Not necessarily in terms of doing anything really rash, but just in our overall shape and work, etc. So I think we learned from it. I think first taste of European football for a lot of the players. I think they'll have benefited from it. So hopefully we'll see that again tomorrow night, and whatever challenges they face tomorrow evening as well. Hopefully they'll learn from those again as well.
In the time that you were on the pitch, how comfortable did you feel it was? Yeah, I mean, can you notice a big difference in class?
Yeah, I think we kind of expected them to play how they played. I think a lot of us British players who have never played abroad and stuff, whenever you go away in pre-season, you might play a Spanish lower league team or Portuguese lower league team, or wherever you go, probably a local team, and they all seem to play the same. They all like to play out from the back and total football type thing. They ain't got no 6'3" number 9 that they just lump it up to like a lot of maybe our lower league teams would. So you kind of know what to expect. I think during the game, obviously they grow up technical players, and like I say, they all want to play, so they're going to try and pass it. So there would have been times during the game where they look like they're comfortable and stuff. But to be honest, I never really thought when I was playing that they'd hurt us. And if anything, we don't mind setting up like that way and letting teams kind of play, because when you win it back and you can counter with our pace and directness and the quality that we've got, I was kind of confident the whole time anyway. So, and I think the game kind of panned out that way.
Yeah, terrific. Ben, I just wonder from a club perspective, how important Europe might be, and just having had one night, that's all it is so far, how important it feels for Hibs to be growing. I mean, we're talking to the CEO in a little bit, but how it feels a part of Hibs growing and getting back to the top.
Well, first of all, I'd say we're in Europe and only one game in, and everyone seems to have a tan. Even you've got a tan, Angus, and you've not even been to Andorra. Joe's got that Mediterranean complexion. Adam's been there 5 minutes and is already looking like a lobster. And here's me with my vampire pale complexion. So Europe's made a difference to how everyone's looking and smiling and feeling. And the fact that fans were back inside Easter Road was absolutely massive. And we were delighted that we were able to work with the City of Edinburgh Council to get the allocation of fans from 2,000 to over double that, 4,700. And now we're gearing towards Ross County in the league, and hopefully we'll be able to get somewhere even larger as well. But the point of Europe is sort of twofold. One is that it gives us the opportunity to, with the new UEFA Europa Conference League, go on a run until potentially, if we qualify for the group stage, at least December. And in doing so, you can build the football club and you can build the brand. And then there's the financial impact as well. So if we are like any other club, it's not specific to Hibs necessarily, to stay in Europe until December, we'll make roughly 2.5 million. And when every football club has struggled, unfortunately, during a pandemic and had to make cuts and redundancies, we've scaled back our own academy, and now we slowly have to build everything around the men's first team as well. That kind of cash injection could go a long, long way. So it's morale boosting, and Hibs fans watching will remember all of the special nights home and away. There's some of the recent ones we've had against Greek teams and Danish opposition. But when you go further back as well, and you think of the famous 5 and that 5-0 victory over Napoli and a goal from Pat Stanton, who's still a club ambassador. I don't know whether Joe sort of feels the same, but to me, it's a real opportunity for this generation of Hibs players to make their mark. We've got a range of talent and quality. We've got a host of internationals. We've got players that were in red hot form, particularly on the offensive end. And if they can get into the group stage, they can write their names in the history books, and they can start to some extent anyway, emulate those famous nights and those wins that we saw with the famous 5. And who knows, it's only the Europa Conference League at the moment, but it's a building block, isn't it? And if year after year you end up qualifying for Europe as a permanent fixture, then slowly but surely as a club, you're able to develop your playing staff and make Europe default. And once you do that, that's when you can really start to try and push to emulate the history of this historic club's famous past.
Yeah, Joe, do you feel that, you get some sort of success this year, and look at last year? I mean, what a terrific success it was. You build on that, you get better players playing alongside you, you get more competition for places. But Hibs, Hibs gets more of a name for itself, not only domestically, but in in Europe as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's no pressure then, Ben, is there?
Yeah, he's built you up.
No, everything Ben just said, obviously it's something that if we can get to the group stages, and like you say, any team in the club's past that has done it are remembered. So if it's something that can be done, it would be amazing, and something that we'd all individually remember, and as a team, the fans would love so much. So there is a lot riding on it, and obviously every club's going to want to get there. But like you said as well, we've got a really, really good squad. We've got so much potential and young prospects who are going to, I really believe that a lot of them will go on to have really good careers. So it's a good chance if we can, like you say, get through these first few rounds. It's a massive chance for us to, like you say, put our names down in club folklore, really.
And I bet, Adam, you're out there now, even though, look, that 3-0 advantage is really comfortable. Jack isn't saying, and as we've heard, he's not saying this is done and dusted, but, this has got to be taken very seriously so that it's finished off and you're in the next round.
Yeah, I think his first words in that interview were that this is like a normal game where they want to win. It's about creating a habit. I remember through the whole of pre-season, when we were speaking to Jack, every time it was, pre-season results aren't important in pre-season, but what is important is creating that winning habit and that winning feeling. And a win here, even if it is 1-0, 2-0, but if you can get a 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, think of the confidence that will bring amongst the group that we can then take into that Motherwell game. And that message is throughout the whole playing team as well. I mean, I spoke to Alex Gogic earlier, and he was echoing the same message that the tie isn't done yet. It might be 3-0 and everyone might have written off FC Santa Coloma, but the job is still to be done. And this is a new experience, like I said, in different surroundings on AstroTurf in hot conditions. And they're all very, very focused on writing their names, or trying to write their names in Hibernian's history books.
Well, there's plenty of positives coming out of Hibs at the moment. Certainly that victory last week against Santa Paloma. New signing Chris Mueller, who we're going to hear from in just a moment. But also, perhaps a name that many people don't know, Ben Kensell, who's just been installed as the new chief executive at Hibs. And he's been speaking to Adam.
Fantastic club, great tradition, great history, big club as well. That I felt when I came and talked to the owner and looked around, had lots and lots of opportunities so to take it to the next level. So for me, it's really exciting, unbelievably passionate fan base, which I'm really looking forward to sort of almost getting to know. And it's famous for all of the right reasons, and it's a club that I can't wait to get started to work at.
Tell us about those conversations with Ron about the ambitions for this football club and how you can play a part in that.
Well, firstly, I think one of the most important things to me is the relationship with the owner. And we have one of the best, in my opinion. Some of the conversations I've had have been fantastic in terms of how he wants to move the club forward. And I think the future's very, very bright. Obviously, I've got to come in, I've got to understand the landscape, I've got to understand a little bit more about Scottish football. But we've got a great manager, we've got a great setup here, and the foundations are very strong.
Yeah, like you say, the foundations are strong, and there's a real emphasis, isn't there, to grow the brand in Edinburgh and further afield than that as well.
Yeah, I think ultimately that's where the opportunity comes in. It's on many different levels, but one of the things that really appealed to me was size of the club, but the opportunity to take it to that next level. Ron feels that way as well, and I think we can work really, really well together. I understand that there's really good staff in place across HTC and here at Easter Road, so looking forward to getting going, looking forward to really getting into the detail and moving forward.
Ben, as statements go, this is quite a big signing, isn't it, for the club?
It's a huge signing, and the search for a chief executive at Easter Road has been exhaustive. And Ben joins us from Norwich City, where he was previously the COO, and he's got an excellent background in a number of different fields, keen commercial brain, which is going to be important as we develop as both a football club, but also a brand as well. He's very football savvy and intelligent and extremely affable as well. So I think that what's obvious from the interview we've just heard is that he's going to engage directly with fans. He's going to have high levels of communication, and he's going to look to develop us under that broader strategy of our executive chairman, Ron Gordon. And what's important about that is that Ron's vision is to make us one of the top brands in Edinburgh and Scotland, and also to globalise Hibs as a football club, but also as a brand entity beyond just Edinburgh and Scotland. So there's a twofold aspect. We have to succeed on the field and ultimately improve upon last season. And third, as a kind of minimum, should be what we're striving for. So last season was fantastic, and you have to go back 2 decades since we finished third. And now we're trying to do that almost as a default, as a bare minimum every single season. And that's success on the football field, and hopefully silverware can be added as well. So again, Joe, absolutely no pressure there. But then off the field, it's about how can Hibernian be known outside of football? How can we find partners like the players wore Mark Darcy designer suits for the Scottish Cup final? So how can we integrate ourselves in fashion? We've recently launched a Matchday Spirit gin with Eden Mill. When you go in the club store, you'll see golf apparel. You can get a Titleist golf ball. So then when you're rubbish at golf like me and it goes in the rough, at least when you finally find it, there's a Hibernian logo on it and there's a saving grace, and you've still got a bit of a smile on your face when you shoot 120. But fundamentally, it's about elevating that brand, and it's about taking us outside of Scotland. And concurrently with the CEO joining, Ron has been chairing a task force with all of the SPFL clubs to try and work out how collectively we can unite. And that means that as each football club goes further in Europe, the Scottish coefficient goes up, and it means we can find ways collectively as a league to start earning revenue as opposed to just fending for ourselves. And I think Ben's arrival is really important because he's got experience through Norwich in these different areas. And I think he's going to help grow the club and take us to the next level. And that next level should be seen as global on and off the field. So that means Europe and beyond. And it also means the brand expansion and beyond. And I think just the final thing I'd want to say is a huge word of appreciation for Greg McEwen, who is still very senior and significant at the club as the head of marketing and brand partnerships. But what some fans perhaps didn't realise is that Greg, for many, many months, has been doing 2 jobs because he was also the interim CEO. And Ron quite rightly singled out Greg for thanks, because Greg has been the figure, whilst we've looked for the right CEO, that has taken us through the pandemic, and he deserves a huge amount of credit as well.
Yeah, well said, Ben. I just wonder, Joe, if you've got any of those special golf balls. Were you using those today when you were playing or not?
No, not them. You did actually remind me of Doige though when you said score 120. That was the only funny thing on that.
He's a poor golfer, is he?
Yeah, he's not great. He's not great at many.
Joe, who's the best golfer in the group?
The best golfer still at the club now is Jamie Gullen. He's really good. He could easily be off scratch.
And are you hacking it around, or are you?
You know what? My form's been terrible lately. I've just been having confidence issues. Just can't get off the tee. All sorts going on in my head. I think I'm thinking about it too much. But then last 2 rounds I've been decent, so that perked me up a little bit. And like I say, a little break this week from football, can get on the course a couple of times as well.
Good man. Thanks, Joe. We'll be back to you in a moment. But another new signing to the club is the US international Chris Mueller. He's not with us just yet. Hopefully, we can get him a little bit earlier than January. Club in negotiations, I'm told, but Ben will tell us maybe something different. But Ben caught up with Chris a little bit earlier.
It was kind of something that's been working over the past couple of months. I had spoken with the manager, Jack, a little bit, as well as some other people who are a part of the club. And I was just really excited about the whole thing in general when Hibs came across as someone who had interest. And, you know, it was really accelerated after that, after they had really shown keen to try and get me over there. Seeing the things about the city, about the club, about the fans and supporters, I was really excited about it as a whole. And I decided to make it happen and give it a go. So I'm really looking forward to joining the club soon. Such a historic club with so much that they've accomplished and so much, like I said, just history. So I'm really thrilled to be joining.
How much do you now know about the club, and is that history, the culture, the community, and so on, is that the kind of thing, along with obviously the football and the opportunity, that attracted you to the move to Easter Road?
As a kid growing up, I feel like I belong in the European football, and especially in Scotland and the UK with Hibs, someone, like I said, who has such a deep history and a culture and a fan base who really care deeply about the game. I think that's where I belong. It's what I believe that I was meant to do when I was young, was to go somewhere where they live, breathe, and die football, and that's how I feel like I live my life. So, like I said, just all in all, it's really exciting for me, and I'm really thrilled to be coming over.
Now, I hate to break this to you, but the weather in Edinburgh is not identical to the weather in Orlando.
So I've heard, no, I think it'll be great. Look, I grew up in Chicago, which was generally pretty cold, as well as going to school in Wisconsin was even colder than that. So maybe a little bit of rain is something I'll have to get used to. I know that coming down to Florida, I've definitely adapted a little bit to the warm weather where you're seeing the sun every day, and I know that will change, but I'm looking forward to it as well, the change. I think playing football in the cold weather is definitely much easier than playing in the hot, humid in Florida, so I'm looking forward to that.
Hibs fans will have followed you on social media. They'll have watched all of the highlights. They'll know all about you. They always do their research. But nonetheless, as a new player coming from America, just tell us a little bit about your style of football. What can Hibee's fans expect?
I think that they'll find someone who always is giving 110% effort. I think that the fans in Orlando would tell you that I play with a bit of emotion on my sleeve, with my heart. Every time that I step out there, just because I love to play the game. I try to play as confidently as possible. Always, I like to get on the ball and make things happen, whether I'm scoring goals or making assists. I like to dribble as well in 1v1 in the channel and receive the ball in the pocket and turn and combine with my teammates. But nonetheless, I'm willing to get back and help the team defend as well. I know how important that is. So I'm really looking forward to getting out there at Easter Road and competing and playing in front of the fans with my new teammates as well.
And you are a US international. You were called straight up to the senior team, having never represented the US at any other level. How did that call up come about? What was it like out the blue to get a call and suddenly be told that you're playing for the US men's national team?
It was obviously a fantastic achievement, something that I had been working my whole life towards. I think that every young footballer dreams of playing for their country. So never having the opportunity to do that as a youth footballer, finally getting the recognition and being able to step into the men's team and play and make my debut and everything was a dream come true. It was crazy, actually. The coach called me on my way home from my last game of the season in Orlando. We had just lost a playoff match, and I was like all distraught and sad and super emotional after the loss. And then I got that phone call literally like 10 or 20 minutes after the game on my way home. And I was like, it was such a roller coaster of emotion because I was still upset about the game, but also obviously thrilled for the opportunity. It was a really special game. You couldn't have written it up any better as a player getting your debut and whatnot. So it's still a night that I look back on, and I am just so thankful that I got the opportunity to go in and make it happen in the way that it did.
Ben, I read in various places that the club would like Chris Mueller to be at Easter Road earlier than January.
Yeah, I think that Chris Mueller is a fantastic signing for the football club, and again ticks two boxes: improving the quality of the squad as a US international, and beyond that, helping elevate the brand. And we can, through him, reach an audience in America. We've always been quite popular in America. There's a supporters group called the American Hibees, and we've had two previous US internationals as well, including Jonathan Spector. In terms of his arrival, it's only a pre-contract, so he's definitely arriving in January. And some reports suggest that the club are in talks with Orlando City about the possibility of trying to get him earlier. From Jack Ross's point of view, with any signing, talking more broadly and generally, you want your players here for the beginning of the season. But as a football club, we're respectful of the fact that unfortunately Chris Mueller is under contract at Orlando City. So officially he's joining in January, and that is how the deal has been formulated. If he comes sooner, then there would still have to be some kind of negotiation and movement, but that's not something really the club can go into at this point. All we know is that he'll be here in January, and when he arrives, I think he's going to be a massive fans' favourite because he's got pace, intelligence, vision. He blasts himself onto the international scene when, having never played for the United States of America at any level, he got a call up for a game against El Salvador, and he scored twice, got an assist, and was man of the match. And that really put him on the scene. And since then, he's grown from strength to strength. Really popular player at Orlando City. And Orlando City of the MLS actually revealed that he was leaving, but they didn't say where. And the rumour mill started, and suddenly people got wind that it was Scotland. And all we were reading was, he's off to Celtic, he's off to Rangers, he's off to Aberdeen, he's off to Hibernian. And there was probably 24 hours of speculation as to which club he would end up at. And thankfully it's us, because it's going to be a big, big signing. And I think he just is going to add something a little bit different. He's got that versatility, so Jack can deploy him in different formations. He's got that pace, he's got that power, he's got that eye for goal. And in addition to all of that, I think he just speaks very eloquently and is a extraordinarily humble young man. And that's why I believe the fans are going to take to him.
That's brilliant news, Ben. I mean, that's a very good resume that you've given him there. Anyone would want him. I wonder what the reaction, Adam, has been on social media this week, not only at his signing and his arrival soon, and Ben's arrival as well. It just feels like we're supporting a positive club that's on the up.
Yeah, absolutely. The mood among the fan base is very positive at the moment, especially after Chris Mueller signing a pre-contract with us. As Ben said, there's a lot of speculation around, especially Celtic and Rangers, and to really bring him here at Hibernian is a massive coup. So there was rightfully a buzz amongst that, and similarly for Ben Kensell as well. Grant Holt, obviously former Hibernian striker, tweeted about him. This was in the kind of rumour mill when Ben was being linked to becoming our new chief executive. He said, "Well, I hope this is true for Hibernian fans. Fantastic guy and amazing at what he does. Worked with him for 5 years at Norwich. This could be Hibs' signing of the summer." So there's big words there from Grant Holt. There was also something, as we like to put kind of little fun social media things within this section on our Instagram story. So it was asking the fans to give us their unpopular Hibs opinions. And Joe, you might be able to get involved on this. One of them was Alex Gojic looks better with hair.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the fans did as well. Yeah,
Doesn't look as scary. He looks a bit more approachable now and nice.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
would Joe Newell look like though without hair if we flipped it?
Ooh.
I don't even think about my nose would look 10 times bigger than what it already is. Stand out more. My head's my grace.
And then there was more as well. Should Kevin Nisbet get a mustache? What do you reckon, Joe?
Nah, I don't think so. I like his little clean cut baby face.
The fans seem to think they'd like to see it happen. So I'm sure you can pass that on to him. And another one is that Scott Allen will be the best midfielder in the league this season. So like we said, there's a lot of positive feeling among the fan base. And then one more thing just before we sign off. Jake Doyle-Hayes has been engaged this week, which is some more positive news.
Excellent. Good stuff, Adam. Thank you very much indeed. Great for your contributions from Andorra. Time for our competition winner from last week. Out of the hat, very technical hat it is. Congratulations to Mia King 20. That's your handle, Mia King 20. The Hibs away shirt is yours. So congratulations on that one. And now this week, as Ben hinted, we are giving away a bottle of Eden Mill Matchday Spirit Gin, specially produced for Hibs. And All you have to do is at the bottom of this program on YouTube, use the hashtag MatchDaySpirit and make a comment, and you will automatically be entered into our competition. You do have to be over 18, obviously, because it's an alcoholic prize. So please be over 18, but give us your comments on this show using the hashtag MatchDaySpirit. So that's a bottle of Eden Mill Matchday Spirit Gin to the winner next week. We'll announce that one next week. So before we go, final thoughts for you, Joe, ahead of this one. You'll be sitting at home watching, thinking what might have been, but hoping the boys do the business so that you'll be around later on in the competition to do your usual stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was maybe Adam who touched on it earlier about the way all the lads in the gaffer will be treating this game with a lot of respect and stuff. And I think it made me think about last season and the way we approached all the cup games where we might have got an easier or favourable tie against lower league teams. There was never any slip-ups. Or in the Betfred Cup last year or the group stages, I think we won all of our games. The gaffer and the coaches make sure we go into these games with utmost professionalism and our serious heads on. Fingers crossed there'll be no slip-ups. I can't see it tomorrow, not with the way that the lads will approach the game and the manner and how they'll play.
And Ben was sort of slightly joking when he said that, third should be a prerequisite every season. Now, does this squad feel that that's a minimum for this year?
I think it's a tough one. It's a funny league, isn't it? Because you have to be realistic in this league. The Celtic and Rangers blow everyone out the water with their the funds that they can use and their resources type thing. So to challenge them would be amazing. It's probably something that no one would expect from any of the other clubs. But I think we did show last year that we can compete with them. Last year was obviously a massive building block for where the club will want to be. And I think we did have a really good season. In saying that, I think the league will be harder this year. I think obviously our neighbours, Hearts, coming back into the league might make it a bit tougher. I expect them to be decent. I expect Aberdeen to be probably better than what they were last season, even though they still had a fourth place finish. So I think the league will be harder, but I think it's good for us, the fact that we're looking at third and the fact that we want to be there again. It shows that the club's going in the right direction. If you're aiming for third and you're aiming for cup finals and trying to go better and win a cup, and it does show that the club's got the drive to try and improve.
Good stuff, Joe. Adam, last one to you. I mean, I know that the season's starting on Sunday domestically. I suppose Jack just wants a squad of fit players coming back from Andorra with whatever sort of result gets us through to the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fact that Joe is kind of at home is almost a blessing in disguise, because that's one fit starting body that's ready immediately for Sunday. But yeah, I think that's the main aim, to get everyone through this game, to progress in the competition, make sure everyone is fit and healthy, get back early Friday morning, rest up Friday, hit training Saturday, and then be ready for the game on Sunday.
Adam, you've done well to avoid the wrath of UEFA. I've been in that position many times and be kicked out of stadium on you've had your 15 minutes. I know. Think your hook.
They've given me a slight warning. So
okay. I thought the heavies were coming in when I heard that noise.
I managed to give them a bit of my charm, and we're all right now. So
excellent. Just keep smiling at them. That's fine. We're done. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Adam. Joe as well. We look forward to seeing you back on the pitch very soon. Ben, as ever, thanks for your contribution. And we'll be back again next week with the Hibee Buzz. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.